What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Just gonna jump into this very quickly. Um, I got a lot of questions on Viking Therapeutics. Vktx is the ticker, so we're gonna go over that one real quick, and I'm gonna go over maybe one or two more, just depending. Anyways, so jumping straight into this one, I do get a lot of questions on this because it obviously skyrocketed previous months, and everybody wants to know what it's gonna do next. Uh, just what I'm looking at right now, RSI seems to be in pretty good condition. This is going to be a daily chart over the past 6 months or so. Our RSI is about 51. My general rule is I like it to be anywhere between 40 and 80, 90 even. That's a little high, but it just depends situation by situation. That being said, one of the other things I do with my RSI is I put a 10 period moving average, like a filter on it, and we're sitting right above it, and actually we either look like we're about to bounce off of it or drop through it, which, you know, that's I do that simple moving average because it kind of gives me an indicator like, hey, this is about to run, or hey, this is about to drop, whether it, breaks through it upwards or breaks through it downwards. That's just kind of one of my handy tools that I have in the bag. Anyways, on the price range, kind of looking at this, if you look at the previous days, it's just been tug of war between bears and bulls. They want to pull it down, they want to bring it up. Very indecisive, so there's not a lot to be said about this one right now. It's just kind of in limbo, but it's not necessarily unhealthy. We are looking at it, our 3 EMA, which is kind of a fast moving EMA, is sitting above our 9, which in my opinion the 9 is like one of the most powerful EMAs. It's kind of what I use to gauge whether or not I'm going to jump into a stock or whether or not I'm going to go ahead and sell it. Anyways, the 9 is definitely one that should be in your toolbox, but our price action closed at 10:45. So on Friday we closed at 10:45, and if you look in this legend over here, it kind of labels every EMA out for you and what the price is. 9 EMA sitting at 1043, so it's sitting right on it, which not a bad thing. If you actually look at previous days, um, right here we kind of closed below the 9 and the 13, and then we started trending down, and then kind of breaking above it, and that's the story there. And so, like I said, we're just kind of in limbo waiting. If I had to guess, we could very well see a bounce up into kind of the support lines that we talked about on the weekly chart from the last video. I am looking at this 50 EMA though, because it's been tested a couple of times, and I don't doubt that we may even see it drop to about 984, which that'll probably change. It could be like 990, who knows. But we could dip between those two areas, because one of the biggest indicators that I think, and the most important ones I think, would be volume. And I talked about this in the last video. It looks like we're kind of trailing off volume here, and when you start getting lower volume, obviously it's very common to see the price downtrend. But that's kind of what I mentioned in the past video. Actually, I mentioned that in the post, the one I got fried on, and and we hit that 970 mark before bouncing right back up, which was good. So we would like to see some volume come into this. Price action could dip to about that 50 EMA. If it does break and close below that on the daily, we're going to have to reassess. But right now it's going to pull one way or the other, and it's just going to have to develop, because there's just not a lot to be said about that. However, that is the daily chart. Let's take a look at the weekly. So nothing's changed. It's still the same areas of support and resistance. We've got that $4 mark, $7, and then I think last resistance was somewhere around $13 or so. So we're sitting between those two. If it does decide to break down, which, looking at this weekly chart, we're looking at that 9 EMA. Like I said, that 9 EMA is where most of my trades come from. Does it close above it? I'm getting in. Does it close below it? Okay, I'm getting out. It's not as simple as that, but that's something to look at. On the weekly chart, our 9 EMA sits at about $10.11. Okay, that's not a bad amount. However, if you're looking at the previous days, or sorry, previous weeks, it's like that price action has actually dipped down. You see these long wicks here, it's dipped down to that 13 EMA, so that's not uncommon. The only thing that scares me here is that we closed on this 9 EMA on 1 week and then dipped down all the way, past that. I think the 25 EMA caught that. So on the weekly chart, is the 9 EMA as significant? I don't know. It's just going to be we either bounce off of it or we don't. If we don't, well then, we could trend down and we could very well see, 639 is that 50 EMA where it, dropped all the way there on this past run up before running back up. But like I said, that took weeks to develop, and we would see clear signals as to where we're going before that happens. So I'm not saying 639 is like happening. I'm just saying be sure that you're watching this 9 EMA to break or the price action to dip to the 13 EMA, which is 962, and that aligns really well with our 50 EMA on the daily chart. So those are crucial, price action. So we're looking at 960 here, 980 on the daily 50 EMA. So like I said, just keep in mind that we're looking at this 9 EMA to hold. We could very well have bounced up here. This could be our run back up. Obviously, once we get to that $13, it's going to be pretty heavy resistance, and I don't know if you're a scalper like I am, you could take profits there. There may be a bounce back or a dip back down. It's just going to be dependent on however your trading style is. So, like I said, be sure to watch those particular levels. Like I said, I don't really know at this point what it's going to do. It's just been so indecisive the past couple of weeks. Like, obviously, we're just trading sideways here. And part of the issue is still remains this volume, so we would like some of it to show back up, but we'll see. RSI on the weekly is looking like it's at 63, so it's in good shape, but it has not broken through that 10 period simple moving average. Like I said, we're just going to have to wait for it to develop. Unfortunately, it's not anything cool and exciting to report, but that's the state we're in, and as long as we're trading sideways, we're not losing money, so there's that. Maybe you could position yourself for a better entry. Time will tell. Anyways, so that's it for that one. The other one I've been talking about on StockTwits has been Gern, ticker Gern, Gern, I guess is how you would say that. Anyways, I like this chart. I've played this one before. It's gotten me some pretty decent gains. The reason I like this chart is because just from the daily I was looking at it, and I think I made my entry somewhere around 376 the first time and then about 384 the next, and that's because we were sitting right on that 9 EMA. Price action dipped below that, didn't get scared, stayed in, that's fine. I think we ran up to that 412 and I sold that first time, and then it dropped back down to that 8 and held above it that day, and so I went and bought in. And I'm kind of waiting for this because in my opinion it just looks like a very healthy chart. There's our 3 is above our 9, our 9 is above our 13, 25, and then 50. So we're just stacking those EMAs, and hopefully we'll see a nice run up come soon. And again, looking at the volume, it's not like it's staying pretty level. Hopefully we start to trend up, get some more volume, pump up that price. That's really all there is to that. Like I said, we're just going to see if we hold that 9 and hopefully trend up. Obviously, RSI is in a good spot. It's at 58.06, and we're either going to bounce right off that 10 simple moving average or we'll drop through it. Either way, my stop losses are always in place, and we'll let that play out. I am going to switch this over to a weekly view, kind of see what we're doing here. And there it is. Kind of a mess, but I don't really much care for this particular pattern because it's kind of like a higher low, but we'll see what happens. Like I said, still in good shape. We're still bouncing off that, we're still above that 9 EMA, and yeah, we're going to go from there. Like I said, it's just volume staying pretty steady, and hopefully we'll see a run up, but I will make sure my stop losses are in place for this one because we just don't know. Anyways, that's pretty much all I got for today. Oh, hold on, Nflx. Because I had a couple of comments on Nflx and we're severely oversold right now. We are certainly making our way downtrending. It's kind of got that double top formation. Hopefully we'll find some support. I was really hoping to find support in the 335 range, because if you switch to the weekly, that's kind of where the support was. Oops. And we did not. We closed below that. If you look at history, it kind of has a habit of bouncing off that 25 EMA, which we did not do here. However, our 58 EMA is looking at like it might act as support, which it's very possible it could flash crash. Nflx has done that before to around the 290 range, so just kind of be watching for that. Watch it to hold or not. So that's pretty much all I got on that. It just Nflx doesn't really look like a good chart, and I was hoping to shape up earlier this week. It did not. So that's all I have there. Like I said, you guys be safe out there. Stop losses are your friends, and trade smart. So y'all take it easy.